We are back. Toto's on the screen, Wagwan. This is Solo P1 and welcome to the Flaming Tarmac episode 63. It's been a long time. Since we've done the Flaming Tarmac. We are back. F1 season is among us. We've got Benjamin. Big up Benjamin in the house. Big up to you. This is our first F1 review, preview of the season. Australia is tonight, early hours of the morning. Depends where you are in the world. And I'm so happy that F1 is back. Lewis is in the red. Wagwan. Big up to you, Wagwan. Flaming Tarmac. I'm going to bring in my co-Guzmo partner in crime, Toto! How's it going, Toto?
Yeah, man, it's going well. It's going well, man.
We got the people in the house. Big up.
I'm just glad that the Formula One season's finally back. You know, I've kind of getting not bored of the football, but I've kind of getting a bit burnt out of it. So I'm just glad the F1 season is back, and regarding winter testing, it's going to be quite interesting how close the cars are. For this. Yeah, I think four teams are going to be in it this season.
We'll talk about it. But it is, man. It's gonna be a good season, man. It's gonna go back to like 2012, 2013 season. When you get to the end of the regulations, it always gets interesting. 2012, 2013, when you had about six drivers on the similar points at the last race of the season when we was in Brazil. And also 2021, what happened with that? We all know what happened. Lewis Hamilton got robbed of his title. But for me, he'll always be an 8-time champion to me. Abu Dhabi 2021. But listen, we've got people in the house already, man. We've got Benjamin. Big up. Yeah, I'm well, man. I'm well, Benjamin. I'm well. Chris Welch, big up to you as well. Yeah, man. Everybody's happy, man, because the F1 season's starting. Football season is kind of fading off into the sunset. And now the F1 season is among us. F1 season, Lewis Hamilton in the red. We have Ocon in the Haas. We have a new driver at Mercedes alongside George Russell. Everything's kicking off. Nobody knows where nobody is. But the thing, what is coming out the paddock is McLaren. At the moment, is the fastest car. McLaren. No surprise to what happened last season. What's your thoughts on McLaren and Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, bro?
And McLaren is doing really well at the moment. But what we've seen in the winter testing, they're doing really, really well. I think, I was watching a bit of Formula 1 today, right? And they put a little stat on the screen, and it was saying that McLaren is the first fastest car. Which I think was expected. I think it was expected. Yeah. I think it was expected because, coming after last season, how good they were doing towards the back end of the season. Usually, towards the back end of the season, teams are allowed to put the new upgrades on, so you were going to see the full potential and the full speed of McLaren. They did really, really well last season, and of course this season in winter testing. They're showing great pace. What a driver combo, Piastri and Lando. I think Piastri this season, I think he has to prove himself if he wants to be challenging with Lando Norris. I think the first 4 races, if Piastri can't get close to Norris in the first 4 races, he'll have to play team orders. You can't just say, I'm not going to play team orders.
Yeah, I know we're going to get into it. I know. Of course, man. Look, the team orders are not going to come into play yet. It's not going to come into play at least to Silverstone. They can look at probably Silverstone, or they can see where the points are, and then obviously they have to start doing the team orders. But they don't want to start doing that like they did last season. Remember what happened last season with the team orders, where they just never done it? Your opinion? What was your opinion on last season? Do you think they should have pulled the trigger at the beginning, or you think they should have? Maybe if they did, they would have had a better chance of winning the title. I know they won the constructors. I'm on about Lando Norris.
Yeah, I reckon Lando Norris. It was a learning curve for last season because I think he made a lot of mistakes. Yeah, bottled the start a lot of times. But again, you can give him a little bit of a blow because that's his first time in that kind of situation. He hasn't been in that situation before. He probably didn't even expect to be in that position before. And McLaren has come so good that season, and Red Bull fell down so much he didn't even expect to be up there. So
I'm on about regarding team orders though.
Team orders running like Piastri and
you think they should have pulled the team orders in? And
they should have.
Yeah,
they should have. Because at the end of the day, right, Piastri ain't fighting for nothing.
Yeah.
Lando's fighting for the championship. So, in a logical sense of view, you should be giving your main driver the main priority. And who cares if you screw Piastri? Of course, it's about the constructors as well, yeah. But when Lando has a chance to overtake Piastri or quicker than Piastri, they should swap position. They shouldn't let him fight. They should just have a smooth flow and let each other by.
Yeah, I agree. That's what they should have done last season. I don't think McLaren was expected to be in that position. It was Miami last season when you started seeing the true speed of the McLaren car, and I think that kind of took them off guard. You know, if you know what I'm saying. I don't think they was expecting to be that fast. And when they realised it was that fast, they didn't know what to do with the team orders, what they was going to do. Mate, they was going to go, Oscar Piastri, you got to stay behind. You got to stay behind Norris. Pause. You have to stay behind Norris. Or what, you're going to be a team player. I don't think Oscar Piastri was happy with that. You know, no driver's going to be happy being the second driver. But I thought if they would have sorted their crap out earlier, I think they would have had a better run at Max Verstappen. You get me? I think that Lando Norris would have had a better chance of catching Max Verstappen in the driver's title. It's the fact that they were stupid. They should have said to McLaren, right, Lando Norris is the main driver. Oscar Piastri, you support him. When next season comes, then you're going to fight it out. You get me? Because there was a little chance that Lando Norris could catch Max Verstappen, but you know, it is what it is, and that was last season. But this season is going to be a different kettle of fish. At the moment, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's coming out the paddock that McLaren have the fastest car. We're never going to truly know until Australia, when qualifying comes in the race, obviously. But it looks like that McLaren has got the fastest car. So let's read the chat. Chris Walt said, McLaren were expected to be favourites for both titles for me. All pressure is on them this season, arguably. Yeah, the pressure will be on them because last season they won the Constructors' title. So they are now world champions. They've got the #1 garage. Because everybody knows in Formula 1, I know you guys know, and I know you know, Toto. When you win the Constructors' title, what do you get? The #1.
#1 garage, yeah.
Exactly. So they've got the #1 garage now. So the pressure's on them. They've got a slight advantage having the #1 garage. They had the most funding, but we all know in Formula 1 when you finish first in the constructors title, you get less wind tunnel time. But I don't think that bothers them regarding the wind tunnel time. Is because regarding the wind tunnel time is they know this is the end of the regulation. So wind tunnel time, they don't really care. They're more concentrated on next year. But I think they will be obviously they're the favourites. I think they will be the fastest car for now. But as the other teams develop, you'll see around about Miami time, Imola, you'll probably start seeing Ferrari move up there because I think Ferrari's going to be in there with a shout as well. But a good question there, Chris Welch. This is for you, Toto. You can answer this one. This is from Chris Welch.
What's your thoughts on Piastri signing an extension?
You've done that today.
I think we're on that one, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Well.
Yeah. I reckon it's good for Piastri. I think regarding last season, he performed really well. I think his attitude is good for the team. He's a good second drive, you know what I mean? Of course, that's not a great way to put it but he's a great second drive. You know, he don't complain. He'll always support the team. We saw a glimpse of that last season. Like he's doing everything in his power to help Lando win the title, and that's a good second driver. Because you know, if you want to win constructors, if you want to win drivers, you got to have a good second driver. That's a realistic part of it.
Facts.
You know, so Piastri signed a 2-year deal. To me, I think they should have signed a longer one. But I still
but he's
2
young.
years is enough, and he's championship material, man. You know, he can definitely win a title in the future. So for now, right, I think for this season, if Piastri, of course, can't get close to Lando, of course he will have to play. He'll play the team orders. You know what I mean?
Well, I know that. I'm just saying, yeah, regarding that, Chris Welch signing the extension, it makes sense because at the end of the day, they are the fastest car, and the extension is probably smart because at the end of the day, we don't know how the other cars are going to react to the new regulations. Because when next year comes, it starts again. It's all about more engine power next year. It's all more about not so much about the ground effect. It's more about engine power. So Piastri next year, I think Piastri signing that extension is a smart move because I think this year he's going to try and win the world title like we just discussed. So I think it's a good move for him and it's a good move for Ferrari. It's a no-brainer. Where else is he going to go? He's not going to go Red Bull. They won't have him at Red Bull. Because the reason why they won't have him at Red Bull because they don't want him to challenge Max Verstappen. If you look at Red Bull over the past 10 years, right now, since Max Verstappen's been there, have a look at the drivers he's had next to him. It's drivers that are yes men. That are always gonna say, you know what, we're gonna follow Max Verstappen. They're not gonna bring it. This is the reason why they didn't sign Sainz. They didn't sign Sainz because they knew if he went to Red Bull, he would be challenging Max Verstappen, and they don't want that headache. So they always make sure they bring in a second driver. It's like with Liam Lawson. Liam Lawson's coming to Formula One. He's Max Verstappen's second driver. He's not going to challenge Max Verstappen. They'll dial his car back and say, keep your mouth shut or you're out. It's very simple. This is the difference between other teams where they let the other teams fight it out together. It is what it is, isn't it? But regarding Piastri, yeah, brilliant signing for Piastri and for McLaren. It says on here, Chris Welch says Norris has to win this season. All pressure is on him. For me, there's no excuses now. No, there's no excuses. But it will be a tougher season for him. It's not going to be just one or two drivers sailing away into the sunset. It's going to be a lot of drivers. The two Ferrari guys are going to be in there. The two Mercedes guys are going to be in there. Red Bull, maybe not at the beginning. They won't be fast. And regarding if you would have watched testing. But eventually they're going to get their crap together as well. So there's going to be a lot of drivers involved in this title race. So the pressure is on him, but it is and it isn't, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it is what it is. But I know what you're saying, though, bro. Next question for you. Oh, it's not for you actually. He says, "Oh yeah, got to sleep, but hope stream goes well, lads." Yeah, big up Benjamin. Have a good sleep, man.
Big up, man.
Let me answer that one. Chris.
Yeah. Piastri sign extension is a cause. Mercedes engine will be the best engine in 2026. Apparently,
it will be.
They are showing promise. A lot of promise. Red Bull own engines are a mile away. Yeah, they tried to do that last season.
Red Bull's done for next year.
Free, maybe getting equal priority. We will see. If you want about Red Bull, I don't think there'll be any equal priority while Max is there. If that's what you want about Chris, what you want about Red Bull, there'll be no equal priority in Red Bull. That's what you said. Like we'll see. There'll be no equal priority as soon as Max is there. Yeah, you know what Horn is like. It's his golden boy. It's his star driver. Yeah, it don't matter if the driver's challenging him. He'll find every way just to screw him. You know, and play the team orders because that's what Red Bull's like. It's a toxic team. When you go to Red Bull, you need to be expecting the worst. You know what I mean? You gotta be expecting that. Yeah, Verstappen's gonna be the golden boy, and he's gonna get the most priority. So, yeah, equal priority? No, not for me.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, regarding the Piastri signings, Mercedes engine will be the best. Yeah, there's rumors that because it's like I said, it's gone back to engine power. It's not really ground effect. But I heard that the Ferrari and the Mercedes engine will be the fastest because it's all about raw engine power. And like you said, the Red Bull engine is in its infant stage. So it's the Red Bull having their own engine, which I thought was a mistake for them. Good luck hanging on to Max Verstappen when you see the car, how slow it is in 2026. But Max Verstappen will probably go to Aston Martin because Adrian Newey is there. And, you know, Lance Stroll's dad is going to pay everything at him. You get me? They'll pay whatever it takes to get Max Verstappen at Aston Martin. But yeah, I think next year it's going to be Ferrari versus Mercedes, like the old school when Vettel was there and Bottas and all that. It's going to be like that. You get me? Mercedes versus Ferrari, because they're going back to the way it was before, raw engine power. So let's face it, yeah, this regulation will go down as probably the worst regulation in the history of Formula One. Ground effect. Nobody cares about ground effect. It only favoured one car, and that was Red Bull. And the reason they done it on purpose so Max Verstappen can win all them titles and try and diminish Lewis Hamilton's record, which is just not going to happen at the moment because Lewis has still got something left. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I want McLaren to do well, and it would be nice to see. It would be nice to see another British driver winning the title, world title as well. I know Lewis is probably going to win it eventually, but it's nice to see another British driver like Lando Norris. You know, it'd be nice to him win the title as well. But I do like Oscar Piastri. I think he's a cool customer, man.
He's a good driver, you know. Having that cool trait about you,
Yeah.
you know, not getting angry too easily, it will benefit you, definitely.
Yeah, man. He's got a head like a flipping 40-year-old, man. He's like he's cool and collective, and it raw, man. Like some veteran, man. You want to read that one, if you want?
Normally, that one.
I'm on the Norris and Piastri being allowed.
Yeah, Norris and Piastri being allowed to race each other will just end up being another Hamilton-Rosberg situation.
I'm not sure.
And we know how that ended.
I'm not sure.
I say 50% agree with it, to be honest. I know, you know, Piastri had his core lead and all that, but when things come down to business and when they're on that track, they don't think about friends, they don't think about nothing. So when they have that bribe to just free to race, Piastri's going to try his hardest, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He is, and of course, I thought the Hamilton-Rosberg situation where they were going, you know, every single year they were trading championships.
They weren't trading, they
weren't trading, but you know, Rosberg won one of them. But Norris and Piastri battle, that's one for the future, man.
Yeah.
No, because Piastri will get better as a driver. I think he's already good now. But he will get better as a driver as he gets more experience. You know, he's already got the cooler as it is. You know, that's the first step. So, you know, he's going to go far. Piastri. He's going to be a good driver. You know, potentially the next Lewis. You know, you can say. I know he's not, but
who's going to be the next Lewis?
Piastri could potentially be the next Lewis because I think that he's got the potential to be really, really, really good. You know,
I think he's definitely going to be a multiple world champion.
Yeah, definitely.
And he'll do it fairly as well, not like certain people. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
it could be. There's been a lot of rivalries over the years. If you look at Formula One, you look at the most famous one, Frost and Lauda. You got the other famous one, probably the famous one actually, Senna and Frost. What's his name? Hunt and Lauda. Lewis and Vettel, Lewis and Rosberg, Lewis and Max Verstappen. There's been loads. Look, it's over the year. It's going to happen. But yeah, two teammates. But that again, that goes back to McLaren. How are you going to manage two young drivers hungry to win that first world title? Because Piastri, I'll tell you something now. Piastri's not going to be laying down this season. He let that go last season because at the day he was new to the team, innit? But this season, not so much. I would expect Norris to get most priority. Haven't said that as much as I think Piastri has got the ability. Yeah, I think Piastri. It depends how the first few races go though, bro. Because just say that Piastri starts outperforming Lando Norris, right? To say he starts outperforming Lando Norris, and then say about first 4 races, Piastri's ahead of Lando Norris. He's faster in qualifying and faster than a race. The team will gravitate towards Piastri because the team is all about business. They want to win the title, innit? They're not going to start saying, you know what, let's concentrate let's concentrate on Lando Norris when Oscar Piastri is in front. You get me? So I think after the first 4 races, Oscar Piastri, there's a big gap between them, which I don't think there will be. If there is, they're going to go towards Oscar Piastri because over the years, they go where that is. You get me? It's all about that. The yen, the dollars, the euros, the pounds. That's what it's all about. So, but I know what you're saying now because he's been there longer than Oscar Piastri. We'll see what happens. That one, you want to answer that one? It says Red Bull would only sign Piastri if Verstappen leaves. Yeah, what are you saying?
Yeah, because you know, if you
100.
I don't think Piastri would lie down for Verstappen. You know,
Nah,
he
I know
wouldn't do
this.
that. Red Bull know what they're doing when they're signing, drivers. They sign nice guys, like Alexander Albon, for an example. He was a nice guy. Sergio Perez, he was a nice guy. You know, he would lie down for Verstappen and just
Pause.
let him get all of the points and whatever, right? Red Bull and Christian Horner know exactly what they did when they're signing drivers, yeah. But say if Piastri joined there with Verstappen, you know, a young, hungry Piastri joining Red Bull, it wouldn't turn out well. Two showmans,
I know.
two teammates that want to go at each other.
So Chris Welch again. No, the equal priority comment was McLaren drivers. McLaren haven't denied giving both drivers priority, which can be good but can be bad if both in the title race. Yeah, if they're both in the title race, the way they usually go with teams when they're both in the title race, they just let them fight it out, but they'll just say be clean. As long as they don't crash into each other, you get me? They're not going to say one hold back if they're both in front, as long as it's clean. You get me? But there will be eventually you'll see clearly who the fastest is. You get me? Because if you get two drivers in the same car and they both got the same setup, similar setup, you'll see who the fastest is, isn't it? That's how it goes. It's either they're gonna get vicious with each other. Look, I think Oscar Piastri, yeah, for me, I think he's a classy driver. You get me? Obviously, Lando Norris has got more experience. But that will be an interesting That will be an interesting rivalry. I said this a couple of years ago on my channel. I remember when Oscar Piastri first went to McLaren, and I remember saying to someone, I said, "Watch this rivalry in a couple of years," because I knew McLaren was going to get their shit together. I knew eventually it was going to happen. So yeah, that's going to be something I'm looking at. And another rivalry I'm going to be looking at is Lewis and Charles. That's going to be a good one as well. Lewis and Charles, that's going to be a good rival I want to see. And I'll be interested to see this new kid as well against George Russell. Once he starts getting his foot under the table and he starts learning the setup and he starts learning the wheel, all the system and everything, how Mercedes works properly. That's why it's going to be probably the best season. People are saying it's going to be the best season ever in Formula One. So, you know what I mean? It's going to be good. I know it will, because there's a lot of drivers involved and that's the way it is. It's like that every time the regulations finish. The last 2 years, it's always good because everybody's caught up. So this one to you, Toto. Exactly, lads. We need to see how it starts the season, goals, who's where, understanding. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
We've already got stats now that, of course, McLaren's first in the pace. I think McLaren first in the pace. Then it's Ferrari. Then it's Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull. So I think Red Bull's fourth fastest. I think Red Bull's either second fastest or fourth fastest, one of them. But it's Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull, and Mercedes in the top four. And Mercedes, I think, is third fastest. Third fastest Mercedes is. So you can see that it's going to be a close season. I think there's only 5 tenths
Ferrari's
between them
second,
all.
but they're just behind them, innit? They're second and Ferrari.
And 5 tenths is only between them all. You know, it's really, really, really close. So I can't wait. I can't wait for Australia.
And you know that Ferrari weren't pulling the trigger yet.
Yeah.
You know that they're holding something back. That's why Lewis had a big grin on his face in the press conference. Couldn't stop smiling. He was like a young kid again. He said, "I felt like being in a young kid again." And everybody knows when Lewis starts laughing like that, yeah, there's something under the table. You know there's something under the table. Something's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, next question. Red Bull 4 fastest, yeah. Red Bull are.
Yeah, 4. See, you can see that if you compare Red Bull to the last couple of years, they have dropped off. The last season sort of drop off for Red Bull. They were lucky to win that driver's title, by the way. Verstappen was lucky to win that driver's title. It's just because he had enough points. He gained lots of points from the beginning of the season. The first half of the season. That's how he gained the majority of points. And all he had to do is finish second, third, or just finish ahead of Lando. And Lando was very, very inconsistent with his results. So you got to blame some of that on Lando as well, why he didn't, stick through. But yeah, Red Bull has dropped off. But again, we've got a whole season. It's a long, long season to go. We all say this every year. There's a long, long season to go. and we just got to see how things play out. You know, Red Bull being fourth fastest towards the end of the season could end up being first fastest, or McLaren being first fastest could end up being fourth fastest. You don't know. You don't know what's going to happen this F1 season, how the upgrades are going to go. I think as soon as the upgrades start to kick in, I think that's when we're going to see the real winners.
Yeah. And it's usually it's usually about 5 or 6 races in it. That's when you start seeing really don't really hang your hat on this race, you get me? Because it's the first race of the season and it's Australia. This is not really a measuring stick, kind of a measuring thing. Like, I don't know, I can't pronounce the word. Like you can't really rely on this race to be the the opinion on the rest of the season. You get me? Because it's just Australia, and it's a very weird track. I don't really like this track. There's a lot of slow speed corners, which I'm not really a big fan of. Too many slow speed corners. I know they extended it. They made like a big straight, which made it a little bit better. But I'm not really the biggest fan of the Australian GP. I know Toto liked it, but for me, I'm not really a big fan of it. So don't really look at this as, oh yeah, that's it. Lando Norris wins the race. He's gonna win the season. There's a few more races to go before you start looking at, because I always think of an F1 fan. Once you go to Spain and you see where you are at Spain, that's the measuring stick. That's when you know where the teams are. This is why they used to have the practice sessions there. You know, when they used to have the winter testing, that's why they used to have them at Spain, because the Spain has got everything. It's a kind of track that they've got everything. So when you see the car on Spain and it does well in Spain, that's when you know that's the measuring stick. That's when you can look at it and say, you know what? That's the team what's going to go forward. So Australia is not really a track you're going to look at and think, oh yeah, that's it. He's won the race now. He's going to win the season. No, because there's many times Lewis hasn't won the Australia in 6 attempts. It's been years. I think Lewis has only won it once or twice. And look how many times Lewis has won the world title. So don't look at Australia to say, you know what, that's the one. When you get to Spain, when you look at Spain, Catalonia, when you go to Spain, then you're going to realize where the teams are. So, you want to answer that one? He said, team,
exactly.
The teams are preparing.
Also, some teams are preparing for next season regulations. Yeah, there is a couple of teams that are preparing for next season regulations. That's what I'm saying. Like, they could be good in the first 4 or 5 races of the season. As soon as the upgrades come in, then teams you see do well at the start of the season will go down. Like if you think about it, I think every single season's like they've got a similar trend. I think when Latifi and Griezmann was there, like Griezmann was Antonio Griezmann, remember him? So like
Yeah.
When he was in the Sauber,
Yeah.
the Sauber was so good in Australia. He was killing it with the Sauber. He was getting top 8, getting up there, overtaking. The Sauber showed pace, but as soon as the first 5 races kicked in, back to default settings, 20th, 19th, 18th.
You see,
so you can see that you can't. Australia, of course, you got to enjoy it. You got to enjoy the Formula One, man, but don't expect the baseline.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So really, it's more Spain. You get me? You look at Spain, then when you see where the teams are, then you'll figure out how the season's gonna play out. But man, I can't wait for this season to start. I'm very excited for this season. I'm really happy that it's starting. I can't believe we're on episode 63 of the Flaming Tarmac. We got people in the house, but our channel's growing. I'm in a good place in my life with the channel as well. I'm gonna look at the live subscribers. 4,292 subscribers. 4,292 subscribers. The road to 5K is on its way, Toto. The road to 5K, and that's thanks to people like Chris Welch, who's always on the channel. I know it's a bit late. We'll come on today because we had like stuff to do. Mr. Benjamin, don't forget these guys and all the rest that come on that support our channel, and Frab as well. All these mans that come on our channel and support us, yeah. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. So this is where it's going to go this weekend. We've got the live watch along tomorrow. It's going to be early hours of the morning if I'm up. It's going to be Australia practice 1. We're going to do the live map, the live virtual map of Australia practice 1. Then we're going to have practice 2 and practice 3. And on the Saturday, it's going to be, because it's in Australia, we don't know what time we're going to go live. We're going to have Australia, we're going to have the qualifying, and the Sunday, there's going to be the race day as well. And then it'll be Monday. We're going to be doing the review of the weekend, and that will be the weekend review. And then when the race weekend starts again on the Friday, we'll do the flaming tarmac, and then we'll be talking about the week ahead as well. But you know what? It's going to be a good season, bro. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, definitely, man. You know, I can't wait. It's going to be a long season. This is, especially it's going to be a mixture of different tracks, certain for, you know, different teams, and it's going to be a close battle in the top 4. That's all I'm worried about. And usually it's only 2 teams in it. And then days with only one team, 2 teams. Now it's so confusing to 4 teams now, 3 teams, 4 teams. But there's 4 teams going to be in this year. McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull. I can't wait for it, man. I can't, especially Lewis. I really want Lewis to get his 9th title. In my eyes, this is his 9th title.
Yeah.
That Abu Dhabi got robbed, plain and simple. That was his 8th. But yeah, he's going for his 9th title, and you know, I really want Lewis to win his 9th title, man. That'd be the biggest send off.
You can feel it now, can't you? The race is starting to lick it, haven't it? The racing vibe is hitting you, haven't it? I told you, he's coming.
I just, you know, I want him to win his 9th title, man. And it's gonna be a good season. It's gonna be a long season, but it's gonna be good. So
I'm gonna read the chat again. Chris Bolt said exactly. Some tracks suit certain teams when other tracks don't suit. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. Wait to Spain and you'll see. You'll have more of an idea. Don't use Australia as the benchmark. It's not. Chris Bolt said Alpine started badly last season and still ended up being 6th. There you go. By the end of the season, in the end, so that's what it does. Certain teams. He said also, I'll always support your channel, and we all support Liverpool and F1. Yeah, you're damn straight, man. Big up to you, Chris Welch. Big up to Chris Welch. You can share the stream as well if you know anyone who likes Formula 1 and football and that. Yeah, just come over and do the thing, man. It's gonna be good. And like I said, we do wrestling as well. WWE wrestling. We only do the pay-per-views though. So if you like wrestling as well, you can come over and do your thing, man. But yeah, man, I've got nothing else to say, really. I've said what I need to say. Finally, it took us over a year to do another Flaming Tarmac, but these are going to be every week, so there's no problem about that. And also, we'll have our other podcast when we can get that sorted. If you're on iTunes or Stitcher or Amazon, we've actually got a podcast on there. It's called The Debrief. It's like a 10-minute podcast that we talk about Formula 1 and all sorts. So if you like stuff like that, yeah, go over to the iTunes and type in Debrief, Solid P1 Debrief, and it'll come up. So that's the end of that. And anything else to say, Toto?
No, nothing else to say. Just say more live streams coming up on my TikTok channel and my YouTube. Go check that out. Yeah, and that's it, man.
Yeah, big up to you, Chris Welch. Remember, guys, smack that like button and all the good stuff. And that's it, man. We're gonna head off now. Big up to you, big up to everybody. See you later, guys. Big up. Let me just put the thing up. See you later, guys. Bye. Australia is here. Boom.
Stop the brakes. Leclerc